All right, hello, friends. Welcome back to Gaming Dad Fujo podcast. This is episode number 4. I am Fujosevich, your host, former professional Hearthstone player, current analytical chemist, and today we will be talking about gaming. Yes, some Hearthstone, some Breath of the Wild. We're going to be doing a recap of the shows that I watched, TV shows that I watched in 2022. We're going to be talking about Henry Cavill. We're going to be talking about Brussels sprouts, and we're going to be talking about floating. Let's get started. He's got no time to play video games. He's the gaming dad, Fujo. Nailed it. All right, let's get started with our usual self-indulgent gaming update. So, Hearthstone is working again on my phone. I have played 2 Battleground games. One of them I won, one of them I came second. That's probably because I think the MMR's reset, not because I'm exceptionally good. I have no idea what the meta is in Standard. I think I played 1 or 2 games. I was trying to do quests, but I ran out of time. I don't know if I'm going to get back into it. I don't know if I'm going to have time for a legend push. I think if we do it, I'll probably want to do it in wild because we've done the standard. I've never done a legend wild legend wild climb. So I guess we'll have to do that. With the meta Death Knight mechanics seem cool. Everything I see at super high legend, it's rogue. I don't know if that's going to get changed, but I do know that I love the fact that there are lots of cards getting nerfed and changed with regularity. So every time, I know even when I was playing over the summer of last year now, we are in 2023, Happy New Year everyone, there are lots of refunds, and you just go to your crafting page and you type in refund, and then you can get cards for full dust value. And that's great because you basically, I know I always do it even if I want the card, or if I feel like I will want the card, because you can just craft it again basically for free because you have all the dust. However, my gaming has now shifted towards Breath of the Wild. I got it for Christmas. Thank you, Santa. It's incredible. I'm going through it absolutely, as blind as I can. No guides, not looking up anything. If I get stuck anywhere, I'm not looking it up. I'm not letting my little cousin spoil things for me or anything like that. I don't know. I am sure I won't have time to get through everything before Tears of the Kingdom, which is the sequel to Breath of the Wild, comes out in March. I'm probably not going to have time to play that until April, so I have, an extra month or so. But we'll see. It's just, the game's incredible. The game is absolutely incredible. The mechanic with the weapons breaking and you always have to find new stuff. The mechanics with the shrines are everywhere to give you have to go to a shrine and defeat the challenge so you can get a fast travel again. The taming wild horses, the divine beasts, which I have 2 of them done, by the way. I just found the Master Sword. If anyone has played the game, I just found the Master Sword. I don't have it yet. I'm hoping by the time this gets published, hopefully I'll have it. But even that, just it's incredible. The world is, there's interesting different stuff. People in the towns react to the weather, and you have to deal with weather functions and stuff like that. It's really, no wonder why, this obviously makes me seem even older, which, gaming dad, sure. No wonder why it won all those awards years ago, and why the sequel is probably expecting to win a bunch of awards again. It's incredible. I will play Tears of the Kingdom as it comes out, like I said, and we can talk about, a current game. But for now, I'm going to be playing through that. And then, like I said, we know my Hearthstone is, bathroom time, at lunchtime, sort of stuff like that. So maybe we'll do a little bit of Hearthstone, sprinkle it in. We can talk about the meta. We'll see. We'll see if I get into it. If not, it'll just be Pokemon Go as in between other stuff like it has been so far. So let's move on. TV reviews, 2022, Fujo reviews. I think I'm probably one of the worst reviewers. I know I am not very critical. I'll watch the same movie as friends and family. I'll watch the same TV shows, miniseries, whatever you want to call them. I am very non-critical, I think. I think so, because I'm very much just happy to have time at the end of my busy day, getting home, finally taking a couple minutes to relax, and I just turn my brain off and I just absorb. And I'm not thinking, then I'll talk to a friend and they'll say, I knew this character was going to do this. I could tell there was this time jump. I feel like I almost never predict these things because I'm just sitting there enjoying, thinking, just kind of like existing in that moment, which maybe seems weird, but I feel like, I don't know, at the end of the day, I don't want to think more as I sit down for TV. I just want to kind of enjoy. So let's go through the shows that I did watch. We're going to start with The Boys, season 3. I loved it. Surprise, surprise. The only critique that I will have, and here we go. Maybe this is a critique. This is fair. I feel like almost all of the characters are getting funny now, which is okay. But I did rewatch season 1 with some family over the holidays just to introduce it to them. And Frenchie at the beginning of season 1 was very serious. And now he's more funny, lighthearted. I love the dance sequence, all that stuff. But it's just kind of interesting to see how a lot of characters, and maybe I don't know. I feel like it just everyone's written with a kind of gets a little punchline every once in a while. I know we've talked about this on stream before. I'm a big Supernatural fan. It was really cool seeing Dean Winchester on, in The Boys as Soldier Boy. But then he got to acknowledge Bobby Singer as a senator, and he rolled his eyes when he walked past them on the street, which was just funny to see that, that Supernatural connection, which makes sense with the person who, started Supernatural. Eric Kripke is also involved with The Boys. But that was just kind of cool and interesting. And I apologize for the sniffling nose. Slightly under the weather. Surprise, surprise. Next show we talk about Stranger Things. Season 5. I think that was season 5. I'm sure it was. I teared up twice while I was watching that. They were both had to do with Eddie. Spoilers. The show's been out almost an entire year, so that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and say this isn't spoilers anymore. When Eddie died. Sorry. And then again when Dustin was talking about him at the end, which was super cool. And then, of course, even if you haven't watched Stranger Things Season 5, you've definitely heard the Kate Bush song. Everyone's heard the Kate Bush song and the remixes, and then the rock version, and the punk rock version, and then the played with a cello version, and the EDM dance version, and the EDM Steve Aoki remix, and then the Steve Aoki remix done by David Guetta remix. Everyone's re-sung it. That song blew up. Good on Kate Bush for making a couple $1 million. For giving the rights for a song, because that got super popular. Stranger Things, super excited to see how the series ends. I think they said there's going to be one more season, and then that's going to be it. And I'm super, super excited. I was 100% on board with this show from the beginning. And yeah, I don't know. Stranger Things has that tradition of new character comes in, we get to like them, and then they die. I think that's happened basically every season of Stranger Things. This past season, no different with Eddie. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it wraps up. And I'm assuming some more main characters will end up dying as in this last season. More tears for me. Actually, I don't think the missus upstairs knows that I teared up. I kind of tried to play it cool and turn my head a little bit while that happened, but that's fine. There we go. That's secrets out there now into the universe. New year, new me, right? No more secrets. Not that there ever were. Obi-Wan and Andor. Watched Obi-Wan and Andor. They were incredible. I will say this about Obi-Wan. I was super excited about Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan's a super cool character. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. We've talked about this on streams before in the past. Obi-Wan had all the pieces of an excellent show. It just missed, and there was some weird timing between scenes, and there were some battles that I just felt took away from everything. If you've watched the Clone Wars, it's incredible. I'm talking about the animated Star Wars that takes place between Star Wars episodes 2 and 3. It's absolutely incredible, and you get to see all these like small stories, which again leads to the strength of the strength of potentially what these miniseries can be, because you can tell these longer stories, and in the Clone Wars, you get to see just the whole Star Wars universe, and this planet over here, and that planet over here, and they're struggling with whatever, and it's really cool that way. However, some of the actual fighting in the Obi-Wan miniseries just felt disjointed. It was really cool seeing Darth the first time he runs into Darth Vader. Obi-Wan runs into he pronouns. When he, as in Obi-Wan, runs into Darth Vader, you have to be specific when you're talking. Language is my tool here. We have to use it properly. When Obi-Wan first runs into Darth Vader, it's very cool seeing him still be disconnected from the Force and having to run away. And you can feel, yes, he's going to be saved. But then, yeah, there you go. That one you knew Obi-Wan's going to get saved because, again, you've seen the next movie, which is fine. There's still suspense. I think there's still suspense there. But it's how is that going to happen is what's going through your mind. And then even the way that happens, like, well, there's a little fire. We've seen what Anakin Skywalker can do. We know what Darth Vader can do. Later in the series, he rips a whole spaceship back down to the planet as it's trying to take off and rips off a wall out of it. And then the rebels escape out from behind it, which was cool. But so that was just disjointed when Obi-Wan first fought Darth Vader. And then there was also disjointed when Obi-Wan's facing all the stormtroopers as they're walking right towards him. And people are just shooting guns when they seemingly, 20 meters away from each other. That was just really strange to me. So that was kind of the only thing about Obi-Wan. Apparently there is a fan edit, which I think we're not supposed to talk about. But there's a fan edit that took, what is it, eight episodes, all roughly an hour, so we call it 8 hours, has been edited down to, I think it's like 2 hours, 45 minutes. Apparently it's super crisp. It's super crisp, very high quality. That's the version to watch. I don't know how. I'm not going to encourage it. Apparently, I'm assuming this is I don't even know what the legality on that sort of thing is, but look into it before you look into. Apparently, that's the best way to watch the Obi-Wan miniseries. Now, like I said Obi-Wan / Andor because they're both in the Star Wars universe. Andor was incredible, in my opinion. I cannot wait for season 2. Apparently, there will only be a season 2 following this up. Andor did just finish relatively recently, so I won't get into too many spoilers. But Cassian Andor is a character from Rogue One, which was one of my favorite Star Wars. It's up there, top 3, if not my favorite Star Wars movie. It's incredible, and Andor's to me kept me in suspense from the first 5 minutes, and then entertained the whole way. And you see Mon Mothma, and you see Andor, and you see the Empire, and all this incredible stuff. And there's kind of really 3 acts within the movie, or the movie and the miniseries. And I cannot wait. Even though we know exactly where Cassian Andor goes in Rogue One, absolute suspense the whole way through, and just absolutely incredible. I cannot wait for season 2. I think that's going to be 2024, unfortunately. As we're sitting here, January of 2023, it's over a year away, but that's fine. And then the other show I wanted to talk about, Witcher, season 2, but that was actually released end of December 2021. So that's just going to be our transition to talk about Henry Cavill. Let's go, Henry Cavill. We all know him. His bear-like physique, great actor, and a bit of a gaming nerd, like most of us are. There is that classic story. I think he's talked about this in his interviews where he had auditioned for his original role in Superman, and he missed it when they called him back to offer him the role because he was actually playing WoW and raiding, and he couldn't get away from his computer because he was busy raiding with all of his online friends, which is absolutely incredible. So Henry Cavill, I'm sure people probably heard about this. He lost The Witcher, and he lost Superman. So he's going to film season 3 of The Witcher. And then the series is going to continue with Liam Hemsworth, which is interesting. Season 1 was cool and really good, in my opinion. However, if you've read the books, if you've played the games, you will not be super thrilled with season 1 and definitely not with season 2. Apparently, as Henry Cavill, again, was a huge fan, and that's why he was super excited to get it. And apparently, instantly from day 1, the showrunners didn't like the Witcher story. They just liked the idea of this character, the Witcher, and then decided to destroy the whole world that was already built and known and understood. And instead of looking at things like, the classic is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. What did they do? They just filmed the book. What did Harry Potter do, by and large? Just film the books. And those are series that kind of continue on to this day to be beloved, instead of trying to change things like they did now. And I'll probably watch season 3 with Henry Cavill and then 100% stop. I might watch the first episode with Liam Hemsworth just so I can make my own opinion of it, and then it'll probably end. So Henry also went on to lose Superman and stayed classy. I wrote down a quote here. After being told, this is Henry Cavill, after being told by the studio to announce my return back in October prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. Super classy. Staying absolutely super classy. Losing Superman, losing Witcher, roles that he was built to star in. Look at him. And then he gets to announce that he's starring in producing Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer is a more smaller known, obviously within the genre, everyone knows Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000. There is that story that the original Warcraft game was supposed to be actually for Warhammer. Like, the original Blizzard company was making the first Warcraft for Warhammer, but then there were licensing issues, so then they had to change it from Warhammer to Warcraft. Humans versus orcs versus humans, whatever the full title is. And that's how we actually got Warcraft, which spawned off into WoW and everything that it's become. So the Warhammer universe and Warhammer 40,000, which takes place in, 40,000 years in the future. So it's not all mystic magicians and stuff like that. But that he's announced he's going to be, like I said, starring and producing. He's going to be true to the lore. They're going to make a huge universe. There's all these different races and different political strife and struggles and war struggles. And so I'm really hoping this is amazing. Something that can be built for years and years and expand and have little sub-stories and all this great stuff. And it's being brought to us by Amazon Prime, which we should all take a second and pause because we mentioned The Boys. So we can hope it's like The Boys, Invincible, The Expanse, great things on Amazon Prime. But then they also have The Wheel of Time, fantastic book series, and The Ring of Power. So we're hoping it's more like The Boys and Invincible, less like Wheel of Time, Ring of Power. But time will tell. With Henry in charge, hopefully we can put our faith in him, stay confident this is going to be an incredible 10, 15-year thing that'll get to be able to continue to grow and be very entertaining. And it'll be as graphic as The Boys, is what I'm expecting, if not more so. Probably, if not more so, just because of how the Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 universe is. Again, I'm not a super big expert in it. I know there were some people when we used to stream who would come hang out. I see you, Pyro, who were big fans. But we can all learn about that together. Maybe I think I actually have some Warhammer 30,000. Yeah, that was the previous one, the 40,000. Back from when I used to go to the conventions and they would just hand out freebies at some of the booths and stuff when you showed up early and stuff like that. But that's it for that sort of talk. Let's move into Brussels sprouts. So, Brussels sprouts. You're probably thinking, Fujo, I don't care about Brussels sprouts. When I grew up, they were bitter. They were awful. You need to soak them in oil and coat them in butter and salt and pepper and bacon bits. Well, not anymore. So, as a side note, Brussels sprouts are from the same species as broccoli, cabbage, collard greens, and kale. It's all the same plant that was kind of divided off. It's the same plant group. So what's happening is, in the 1990s, the protein that produced the compound, I wrote it down as well, glucosinolates, are actually the compound that make Brussels sprouts bitter. Interestingly, only about 50% of the population has a gene that allows us to actually taste the bitterness. However, like I said, in the 90s, scientists along with farmers started to cross-pollinate different varieties of Brussels sprouts. And they actually ended up removing this bitterness. And there's been a massive recent culinary popularity rise in Brussels sprouts. I didn't actually know this. In mid-December, I just happened to buy Brussels sprouts and I brought them home and I was greeted with, those aren't any good. Why do we have those? And we tried them and they were delicious. And it was really simple. I just used oil, salt, pepper. That's it. Nothing silly. And then I come across this article that talked about the early 90s where this happened, which is absolutely incredible. There are reports of specific farmers who are now making 4 or 5 times the money that they did, guys, compared with a decade ago for the same crop of Brussels sprouts. Now I know inflation. Economics is not one of the topics today. We'll stay away from that. But there is a massive increase in demand. And this is one of those things that like you can look back and be like, oh yeah, I hated them as a kid and maybe my taste just changed. Sure, maybe 100% that things like that do happen. However, this is just a lot of super cool science that was done, just selective breeding. Scientists and farmers work together. Let's try this with this breed, this species with it. And that's what they did. This is not a GMO thing, even though they're fine. This is just super cool selective breeding to make this work. Now, let's end with talking about floating. So, floating is basically exactly what it sounds like. You go into a tank of super salty water. You're at a spa, something like that. You can go to your sauna room. You can get your massage. I have only gone a few times floating, but I love it. You go into a tank. I went into one that's called an ocean tank. So it was actually big enough for me. There was a door. You walk into this huge tank. It was probably 7 feet long by, actually my arms could go all the way out. So maybe like more than 6 feet wide as well. And basically the salt is saturated. So as I sat down, it was so salty that my hips basically started floating up from me. It threw me back into the water. The tank then has control on the lights, and some of them will have light kind of like soothing white noise type sound, maybe the ocean, the rainforest, something like that. And you float there and you're left with your thoughts. The one that I went to easy for me to say, was for an hour. And I had a little floating thing for my neck just to make my head float a little bit easier. My ears got a little salt water in it, but that's fine. And you just get to float and think. And whatever it's incredible. It's the weirdest feeling because the water is perfectly human body temperature. There's no effort required for you to float. I sink pretty badly when I'm in water. So this was a really cool feeling. And you just lie there. My arms are up. You just lie in this tank. And when I was lying there, obviously, parallel, horizontal, parallel with the earth. I felt when I was just zoning out, just in my thoughts, in my head. It was a very weird feeling. I felt like my body was kind of pivoting off my feet, and I was kind of doing like a full like 360 as if I was in outer space, just kind of rotating head over feet. But I was just lying in the water, and a couple times I had to like open my eyes and look around. There was a little light panel to my right. I could turn on some lights, some very light LEDs, just to let people like me not freak out, that sort of thing. It was a very, very interesting experience, and really good physically. My skin has never, for probably 2 weeks, never felt better with just like getting to soak in salty water. I know my shoulders really appreciated being raised like that for an hour, just being able to stretch out my upper back and my shoulders. It was incredible physically, mentally, just you can recharge. And I wish the place that I went to, I wish I had their name actually right now. I'd give them a plug. I'd have no problem giving them a plug. But I don't have the, I'm not going to go through my phone right now to pull them up, but it was incredible. I wish they were closer. I'd go more often. 100% I would go more often. It's just a bit of a drive, but it's worth it. And it was an incredible feeling. And I keep getting emails from them all the time. Obviously, you sign up when you go, you have to do all the waivers and all that stuff. So they have my email and they send me stuff all the time. And I'm always thinking, oh, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. It's absolutely incredible. I don't know that I've explained it, but that feeling of weightlessness, because your body's not feeling any temperature, so you kind of lose that sensation of touch. And then there's still gravity on you, but you're not feeling the effects because you're just with the water, and the water's completely still in this tiny little tank. Absolutely incredible. I love it. Highly recommend it. Maybe we'll circle back to this. I'll try and hopefully I get to go again sometime soon and we can talk about it more. So that was a lot of fun. And that is going to be it for episode 4 of the Gaming Dad Fujo podcast. Thanks so much for stopping by. I had a lot of fun getting to do this. This is going to continue to be the regular thing that we get to do now. Okay, so this is the plan. I know for last year, I said at the end of last episode, my plan was to schedule a stream. We'll schedule a stream for end of March. I'm pulling up the calendar now and I don't know when. Let's say end of March. Maybe really early April. But one of those weeks. Either the last week of March, first week of April. We'll just go online. And like I said, we'll probably do it on YouTube. We're not going to have to go on Twitch. Most of our friends are still here on YouTube and they're around. So we're going to just go on. We'll probably throw on Hearthstone in the background. Just say hi to people. It's been a long time. It's been way too long for me. I miss getting to do that. I guess I miss getting to do, and that's why I still do this. Just to chit chat for a couple minutes. I can talk to my wall here and my microphone. So that's a ton of fun. I hope you all stay safe. We'll figure out dates. We will figure out we'll pick an actual date and start talking about that. We're going to be able to do this a little more frequently. In a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, we'll see. We'll figure it out, but it's definitely a lot easier to do this. Things are kind of settling in life. We're going to find some routine. We're going to get into some rhythms. It's all that freeness that I found while floating to reconnect everything. So we're all done. I hope you all stay safe out there. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. Stay safe and be good to each other, and we will absolutely be talking to each other sometime soon. Bye-bye, everyone.